Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unit 4. One of the first things that I want to do to start off with this unit video is to just give a little bit of feedback about previous units. So, what I've been noticing a lot this semester, and probably even more so than previous semesters, are that a number of students are not actually watching the unit videos. I'm noticing this because either the journal reflections aren't getting done and I'm getting emails asking what the prompts are, or students are getting the quiz questions wrong that I talk about in the unit videos. And when I am going through and I'm grading the journal reflections, a lot of the reflections just like aren't the prompt that I had posted in the unit video. And I'm getting a lot of emails from students asking me if they would still be able to redo the reflections. So generally, I'm pretty lenient, but in the beginning of the semester, I really stressed to students the importance of watching the unit videos and how there would be some sort of point deduction if they were not watching the unit videos. And so I feel as though with the journal reflections, it's kind of like a natural consequence that, like, if you didn't watch it, you don't get to redo the reflections. And so, like, I hate functioning from this type of position, but at the same time, I've really spent the time to stress the importance of these videos, and like it also takes time for me to record them as well. So please make sure you're reviewing all of the unit videos. And if you are one of those people that has emailed me asking about redoing the reflections, just make sure that, like, moving forward, you're doing them, you're listening, you're doing the prompts and that kind of thing. I know that these videos don't contain a whole bunch of information, but they are meant to help you. So, and generally, they're not like more than 10 to 15 minutes long. So just watch the unit videos, please. A lot is said here about the expectations of the assignments, the paper that's going to be coming up and that kind of thing. So, just to kind of save us all time, please make sure that you're watching these. Um, the other thing that I want to mention is, like, I also noticed that a lot of students are really not putting the effort into the unit assignments. So I understand that most, if not all of you, are functioning with a full-time schedule, which is why I give you 2 weeks for every unit. Um, in the welcome video and the unit video one, I did discuss my expectations as far as like length and whatnot, and the reflections in the unit assignments and whatnot. Please make sure that you're taking the time to do the assignments. Please make sure you're not rushing through the material. You're actually thinking about what's being presented to you and reflecting that in the assignments. We don't have the typical like 50-minute class, 2, 3 times a week. So we don't have an opportunity to really like have an open discussion and really process information in that way. So I really need you to be taking the time to um, view the material, process the material, reflect on the material. So if you have any questions with that, feel free to give me a shout. I know some people probably aren't super excited with their grades. So that just means that I need a little bit more effort from you. It's not meant to be punitive or unfair or really to upset anyone. It just means I need a little bit more from you. And with that being said, almost all of the assignments from Unit 2 are graded. There were some assignments that there were a number of questions asked in the feedback portion, which is totally fine. Those ones might not be graded yet just because I need a little bit more time to go through and answer the questions associated with those. If you weren't one of those people in your assignment, you're one of the few people whose assignment still wasn't graded. That's because I actually have to go through and take a better look at your assignment because you did not really spend a lot of time in the assignment. So I'm going through and trying to figure out where I can give you points, which takes a little bit longer. So, like I said, most of the materials are graded. If yours are not, that is why, but they should be graded within the next day or two. So, um, with that being said, let's just make sure that we're putting a little bit more time and effort into things. But as far as Unit 4, so Unit 4 is one of my favorite units. I'm also a trauma therapist, so that's no surprise as to why I'm a big fan of this unit material. What I will say is that at the end of every semester, when I give students an opportunity to kind of reflect on the semester and the cumulative assignment, most students actually say that this is their favorite unit. So there's a lot of good stuff here, but there's also some things that might be kind of triggering or like hit home for people. Um, Please know you don't need to share anything more than what you're comfortable with. And if we do have students really being vulnerable in the discussion board, let's respect that and support one another. I don't really feel like I need to say that. I feel like that's been happening pretty naturally as it is. So, really nice job, everyone. But what we're going to talk about in Unit 4, the topic is working with children, couples, and families. And so the counseling professionals that we're going to talk about associated with this unit are child and adolescent counselors, um, marriage counseling, and family counseling. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch this video. You're going to read chapters 5 and 8 in Helkowski. And then we're going to start talking about the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, which is also known as ACEs. So you're going to watch a TED Talk by Dr. Nadine Burke Harris called How Childhood Trauma Affects Health Across a Lifetime. And you're also going to read the ACEs Prevalence Study. So with the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, this study like really took off in the 90s. And what it was taking a look at was how adverse childhood experiences as a child can have negative long-term impacts on someone's health. So this might look like growing up that you had a parent incarcerated or a parent who was addicted to substances, parents that were separated, if there was any type of like abuse in the household, stuff like that. So the initial study in the 90s only had maybe I think 10 or 11 categories that they considered to be adverse childhood experiences. But as this research has continued, they have actually expanded that. So now we see adverse childhood experiences looking like, bullying, discrimination, racism, and stuff like that, because those are adverse childhood experiences. So those are in like the more recent studies. So, what you'll end up learning is that, higher levels of stress from adverse childhood experiences are going to lead to potentially higher rates of heart disease and different physical conditions as people get older. So it's really interesting research, and it's really, really helpful. So yeah, go ahead and take a look at those. And then you have 2 assignments for this unit. So it's relatively light on the assignment portion. So you're going to do the Unit 4 assignment, and then you are going to do discussion board number 3. So discussion board number 3, the prompts are in the tracking calendar as well as in the actual discussion board. The questions that you're going to reflect on are, what did you think about the TED Talk? What do you think about the research? What stands out to you about the ACEs findings? And when I say please be descriptive, like really please give me a good reflection on this and like how you internalize this research, what you think of it, and that kind of thing. Describe your positive or negative reactions that you had while you were watching the video and learning more about this research. So were there some things that were talked about that, maybe in particular impacted you? What were those things? What was your reaction? Why do you think you had this reaction? How does this research impact you as a helping professional? And how do you think the elements included in this research impacts clients being served by helping professionals? So this ties into the Unit 2 stuff of like the trauma-informed care. So like someone might not be going something super traumatic that led them to counseling at that moment, but that doesn't mean that they didn't experience something negative as a child. So that's why we utilize the trauma-informed care framework in the sense that we approach everyone with the expectation that they have gone through something traumatic. So that's just kind of an idea of how those 2 things intertwine. So for Unit 3, you did submit the topic of the advocacy paper. So keep an eye out. I will be going through and just mentioning, approved or maybe narrow this down. So make sure you're paying attention to any comments that I leave If you get full credit, like the full 25 points in the grade book, you're usually okay. I'll give you like a 0 and then like ask you a specific question in the comments or the feedback section, and then you can email me and then we'll get you full credit. So, yeah, let me know if you need anything. I mean, that's pretty much it for this video. Honestly, like this semester is going by really, really fast. Like after Unit 4, you have Unit 5, Unit 6, and then a conclusion unit, and you're done. So I know that we're only in October, but with the fall recess and everything, I give you some good time off. I give you about 2 weeks off for fall recess, and that's before your advocacy paper is due. So if things seem a little hectic, they don't stay that way. I like to have things spaced out on purpose. Usually the feedback that I get is that, people would hope to see their grades a little bit sooner than 2 weeks, but, teaching so many sections, it's hard to have all of them done at one time. So I appreciate everyone's patience as those kind of like trickle in, but, let me know if you need anything, if you have any questions. If anyone like is, super curious about grades and like it's super pressing, like please always reach out to me via email. Let me know what you need. But I think that's pretty much it. So this unit starts today. We've got Unit 4 starting today, and then this is due by 11:59 p.m. on the 23rd. So as always, let me know if you need anything, and I will see you in about 2 weeks. All right, take care, everyone.